Hello, I'm here with George, who has read 100 books. He's very educated and very ambitious. Keep on reading. Hello, George. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks for asking.
Before we will talk about your achievement, I want to know you a little bit. Can you tell us about yourself and your family?
Sure, I'm 16 years old and I live in the Bronx. Pretty hard place to live in. I live in the railroad flat with my sister and my father.
I see. Can you tell us about your father?
Sure, my father wasn't much of a father to us. He worked all day in the fish market and he is almost never at home.
And what about your sister? What's she doing for a living?
My sister works at the cafeteria in the neighborhood and she helps in the house financially. She used to give me some magazines she found there. Sometimes, some of them I read a couple of times.
That's nice. And may I ask you about your mother? What happened to her?
Sadly, my mother died a few years ago, and ever since, it's been just the three of us.
I'm sorry to hear that, although I think she looks at you proudly for great achievement.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
How did you do in school?
Actually, I stopped going there. I left at 16 and never went back.
Was there anyone who motivated you? Or maybe someone you look up to?
Well, actually there is Mr. Canazara who always had my back and encouraged me to start reading.
Really? What is he doing for a living?
He is a change maker. He doesn't earn much money.
You mentioned that the Bronx is a hard place a couple of times. Can you explain why? Why do you feel this way?
Well, there are a lot of murders and thefts around there. It really isn't safe there.
It seems that living in the Bronx is pretty rough. What led you to read 100 books?
Well, as I said, it isn't easy living there in the Bronx. But the one thing which led me to read more than money or knowledge or basically anything was respect.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that respect has great value here. People will respect you and you will finally get to be someone who matters. People appreciate a person's action and thus treat them better. This is how it works down here.
And by reading 100 books, people will see you as an important person?
Indeed. They will start to look at me and admire me for being so intellect, for reading dozens of books.
How did you start reading?
I just went to the library and started to pile up books, sat down and read them.
What was the first book you read?
It's hard to remember after 100 books.
You must remember something. You can't forget your first book.
Well, actually, I can.
You didn't read 100 books, did you?
What? Of course I did.
You just winked.
No, I didn't.
You just did it again.
No, I didn't.
Let it go, George. We called your bluff.
Alright, fine, you got me. I did not read 100 books, I lied. I wanted to be appreciated and respected.